In today's lesson, we're going to look at two different types of problems using complementary angles and then using supplementary angles. Keep in mind, complementary angles add up to equal 90 degrees. So in this first problem, dealing with complementary angles, we have ray EG splits right angle DEF into two angles, angle DEG and angle GEF. So keep in mind we have this ray EG that splits up the big right angle DEF. Note we know it's a right angle as well from the picture because the right angle symbol is drawn. We have angle DEG is equal to 3x, and we have angle GEF is equal to 36. We are asked to solve for the value of x. Our first step is going to be to set up an equation by adding the two angles together and setting it equal to 90. Again, we can set it equal to 90 because the sum of the two angles are equal to 90, being the definition of complementary angles. We can go ahead and we can substitute in the values that we know for angle DEG to be 3x into our equation. And we know the measurement of angle GEF to already be 36 degrees. So we can go ahead and substitute that into our equation as well. So next, we're going to go ahead and start to use our inverse properties to solve for the value of x. Our first step is going to be to do the opposite of adding 36 because it's what's furthest away from our x variable. So we're going to subtract 36 from both sides. I'm left with 3x is equal to 54. Note, we automatically know the angle DEG is equal to 54 degrees because 3x is equal to 54 and angle DEG is equal to 3x. However, we're not solved our problem yet. Our problem asks us to find the value of x. So our last step is to go ahead and divide both sides by 3, and we find out that our value of x is equal to 18. If we were given more angle values, or if we were asked to put the value of angle x into a different equation, we would now be able to do that. Moving on to my second type of problem using supplementary angles. And keep in mind, this time, supplementary angles add up to equal 180 degrees. And remember, the supplementary angles do not have to be adjacent angles. So in this case, we have two supplementary angles that are not adjacent angles because they do not share that common ray. Looking at our problem, the two angles shown are supplementary angles. Find the value of x. Set up the equation by adding the two angles together and setting it equal to 180 degrees. So we have 50 plus x over 2 minus 4. So here we have our same equation, and we're going to start off the same way by doing our inverse properties. We're going to subtract both sides by 50. Again, we're doing this because currently the x is inside of those parentheses. So the 50 is the only thing that's available to us to actually be able to remove. I'll be left with x over 2 minus 4 is equal to 100. Is equal to 130. Keep in mind, I know that this angle over here is represented by x over 2 minus 4, which means this whole angle over here is also equal to 130 degrees. However, I'm not done solving for the problem because this says to find the value of x. So my next step is to go ahead and add 4 to both sides. When I add 4, I get that x over 2 is equal to 134. My last step is going to be to multiply both sides by 2. And I find out that x is equal to 268. Keep in mind, this is the value of x that I could use if I had additional angle problems that I needed to solve. the value of the angle is equal to 130 degrees, because as we saw before, the quantity x over 2 minus 4 is equal to 130 degrees. These are also supplementary angles, so I should be able to take the angle measurement over here and add it to the 50 degrees in order to get 180 degrees.